now I wanted to chat with you a little bit about some more recent things, although you did mention a more recent production. We'll just talk about Ghoul really briefly because yeah, you were just in that very briefly, but it was a TV movie shot in 2012 or released in 2012, I believe.
Yeah, it was. We shot it, I think, in I think the year before, I think,
Hmm.
and I don't even know what the story was of it. It was somebody was hiding in a cave, I think,
Okay.
and I played the kid's grandfather, and I'm planting a garden, and giving him advice, and then he goes away, and I have a heart attack while he's gone. So the next time you see me, I'm laying in a coffin. And I told them if they tried to shut that lid, I was going to tear the lining out of it.
And they didn't.
They didn't shut the lid.
No. That would have been cruel, I think, anyway. Traumatizing.
Yeah, well, I was traumatized just being in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that must be weird for actors that do have to
It
play
wasn't
parts.
very pleasant to be in there and have to not breathe, for
Yeah,
when
hold your
the show
breath.
like that.
Yeah. Nah, creepy.
Yeah,
Or maybe what about, was this a semi-horror comedy, the Looks That Kill?
Kind of, because it's about a boy who has to keep his face bandaged because if anybody sees him, they die of his beauty.
Oh wow.
It really is cute. I enjoyed it very much. I filmed that in Rochester, New York, and I filmed both the films that I did in 2018 came out last year. Kajillionaire, which you might also call kind of a weird, bizarre film.
Okay.
That one is with Deborah Winger and Rachel Evan Wood
Mhm.
and Gina Rodriguez and David. Oh gosh, I've done it again. Jenkins,
Okay.
Richard from Shape of Water.
Right.
Richard
Okay.
Jenkins. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And but both of those were 2018 and came out last year. The one I did last year, I suppose you could call it horror.
Okay.
It's Tragedy of Macbeth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
And that's with Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand. And I don't know when that will be out.
Okay.
Certainly not till theaters reopen.
Right. And what does it have to do with Macbeth? Is it Macbeth, the story?
It is Macbeth.
Okay.
It is Macbeth, and Joel took a lot of one-liners and made it into a person named Lady Vivian, which I got to play. I was like Lady Macbeth's companion. Then in the costuming of it, when they fitted me for my beautiful lady's costume, this was all black and white. They suddenly realized, Mary, the costumer says, no, wait a minute. Considering what you're doing, you cannot be a lady. And so they remade my costume as maid, which makes sense, but I'm still not listed in IMDb because Joel can't call me Lady Vivian, which is all anybody ever called me.
Oh.
And because there is no Lady Vivian in Macbeth. It is completely true. It just took a couple of, there are a few in and out one-liner characters or one speech characters, and he combined them into a human that people could follow.
Right.
And that's
Good
me.
idea. Yeah, that's a good way of getting around many of these.
Stephen Root is in it. It is such a wonderful cast. Harry Melling, who was in the Harry Potter movies. He was Dudley Dursley, but he was also just in the Queen's Gambit as
yes, I saw him.
He's wonderful. And also Moses Ingram from Queen's Gambit. She played Lady Macbeth.
Oh, excellent.
So it was wonderful. It was a multinational, multiracial, and black and white. And it was magic. Working on it was so wonderful. We got stopped on Friday the 13th because of COVID. They shut down Warner Brothers, and we came back at the end of July and early August and finished it.
Okay. All right. And it's why it took a little extra. Well, no, I guess that doesn't slow it down too much, I guess, right? But
no, we were almost finished. It's not as bad. I did one last year called Mythic Quest, which is an Apple Plus series about people doing a video game. And I think I know it shows on June 6th.
Oh,
It's episode 6 of the new season, and it was a flashback to the Amazing Stories office in 1973. So Isaac Asimov was in it and Ursula Le Guin. But we started that, and I'd done my costume fittings and my COVIDs, and somebody tested positive. So we did 2 weeks of testing, nothing but testing. And then we got my scenes. And then apparently they had one more street scene to get, and we finished on December 23rd. They didn't finish that episode until January 17th.
oh, okay.
So it was crazy.
All right. So that's coming out June 6th-ish or
Mythic Quest.
on
I
Apple Plus?
looked it up. It says it's coming out June 6th. I did another one and I missed it. Bad.
I'm sure you'll have another opportunity.
Oh yeah.
But the Macbeth one is you don't know when it's coming out yet.
No, it will until theaters are fully opened. It will not come out, and they'll probably hold it to closer to award season.
Uh-huh. Okay. So
I
that's
would
a
think.
big deal too. Not just the usual, like it's a theatrical release, but a theatrical release is going to be a much bigger deal after all of this that we've gone through. My God.
Well, especially it's Denzel and Francis.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, totally. So that sounds wonderful. I'm glad you brought
I
that
have
up.
to tell you, it was a magical experience. Everybody on that film was such a pleasure to work with.
Yeah.
And we rehearsed it as a play. So actually, in one of the first rehearsals, I got to read all 3 witches.
Ooh.
That was incredibly awesome.
Oh yeah. Now there's some sort of I believe it's the witch's spell, their curse that they say out loud is the source of all of the theories and superstitions regarding Macbeth
As
being
the Scottish play.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm afraid we caused COVID.
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
come on.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We're
clear.
all sorry.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess we'll have to forgive you because it'll be a brilliant movie when it comes along and we can finally see it. And
If everybody doesn't know that, the Scottish play is considered cursed, and every production of it, something goes wrong. I have done the play once as a stagehand, and our costumer quit 2 days before opening, and there were no costumes. They fed us pep pills and kept us all up night sewing. This was at Front Street Theater in Memphis.
wow.
And then Barry and I did it. I don't remember anything awful happening. We played it, except we had an awful director and he kept blocking me behind Barry to say my major speech. Well, that's fine, but Barry is 6 feet and I am not. And it's her major speech.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have some background in theater too. So even just sitting here talking with you and saying Macbeth is actually there's a little hesitation for me just for actually.
Yes, it was.
saying
I
the-
tried it one time. I didn't believe it, so I went into the steam dock and quoted some lines, and a flat fell toward me.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
after that, I paid attention.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that there are some actors and performers and stagehands you always come across that they don't believe it and then they have a story just like that right after and then they they have changed.
Yeah, most actors will not say it. They will only
Exactly.
call it the Scottish play.
Or Mackers. I've heard Mackers too.
I haven't heard that one.
That's in the series Slings and Arrows that was shot up here in the Stratford area about the Stratford Theatre, except not the Stratford Theatre, with Paul Gross and a whole bunch of other high profile Canadian actors. I think that was 2007 or so. But anyway.
Where is your Stratford? What city is it in?
Stratford is in Stratford, Ontario, and which is near Kitchener, Waterloo-ish, sort of between that and between like London, Ontario, or so. So it's
And then
south of
Barry
Ontario.
is he worked at the Stratford in Connecticut. He did
Oh,
2 years
okay.
there.
Okay, now this is the Canadian Stratford, in Ontario, and yeah, yeah. So well, and again, this show was just sort of based on that festival, but it is our Shakespeare festival, and yeah, yeah. So anyway, the actors and the characters in that referred to it not just as the Scottish play, but also as Mackers. That was apparently safe as well. So that was season 2, I believe, that they did Mackers. So yeah.
Cool.
Oh, okay. So, you can tell me a little more about, this is more of a genre than a horror movie, but, and did you tell me it was shot in Canada, called Wyvern?
Yeah, that was shot up in Canada.
Cool, my territory.
Yeah.
Well,
I,
depending on where.
best things about that was that Elaine Miles, who played Marilyn, the doctor's assistant in Northern Exposure, was in that.
Oh, right, yeah. And which you
That-
were in, of course. You were in
yeah,
Northern Exposure, you were
that
Maurice.
came in and killed her pretty easy. You know,
Oh,
he just came flying down and scooped her up, killed her.
oh,
And I mean, she wasn't in it for very long.
I guess not.
And I was in it for a while, and it was an interesting thing because we never saw the monster. I didn't know what it looked like
Oh,
till
CG?
yeah, it was a flying dragon is what it was.
Hmm.
And it looked pretty good on screen, you know. But I was shooting at nothing and going like that, running away and all that stuff.
Did
That
you,
was,
uh,
you know, it was interesting, and I like going to Canada anyway. It was
yeah,
fun.
where in Canada was it?
That was in Victoria.
Oh, nice, nice. That's a very
Yeah.
good part of the country.
Um,
And just for those of you who don't know, wyvern is a type of dragon that basically has wings and 2 legs rather than having 4 legs and 2 wings. And I'm not really sure
yeah,
why I know that,
got
but
a big long tail with a spike in it,
mhm.
and they kill me with that spike. Comes
So that
around in the chest with that spike.
I was going to ask how if your character survived. So obviously
I,
not.
I don't get through that one.
No.
I get killed in there.
Okay, so we talked about your role as the real butcher in American Horror Story Roanoke last year, not last year, 2 years ago. But I also noticed that you were in a television series called Lucifer, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that a little bit. Was that 2018 as well, and you were Olga?
I was Olga.
But it
Was
come
that
out in
2018? It could have been.
I think
A lot of
it
things
at least
were.
came out.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. Share, please, about that experience because that's a very interesting show.
That
Have-
was fun. I had knee surgery right around that time.
Oh,
So when I went to the final audition, I had to have a friend uh, put me in a wheelchair to go.
okay.
And I was in the wheelchair for the reading. And then for the rest of the show, I was not. Tom has the most beautiful voice I've ever heard. I could just sit there and listen to him forever. So I think we were Warner Brothers. Feels like it was Warner Brothers. And the sets were great. I loved looking at everything, but I had time waiting for mine, and Tom was in the bar set and he was playing the piano and composing a song, and I just got to listen, and that was awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, wow.
I was a Russian babysitter. Yeah, and apparently there is a kid in the episode, and she didn't like her, and she said, she gone. She did not stick around. And so I got to do was fun. I'm gonna do Czechoslovakian next month, which is so weird to me because Chris, my son, is very good at that, and so is Barry. He can even do Scottish,
Neat.
which I can't do it off. And Irish, I'm great. Liverpool, fabulous. English, I can pass for English, but not that. So anyway, I'm a Holocaust survivor. I'm on a show called Hunters on Amazon Prime, which
Okay.
is about, and it stars Al Pacino.
Oh, neat. Very
Yeah.
nice.
So I was really surprised to get it because my audition was 5 weeks ago.
Oh,
So I thought, well, that's off. Nothing happened. And then they called this week and said, so were offering you the part.
Cool.
It's swinging.
And that's the
Love to hear
Czechoslovakian
it.
accent one?
Yeah, this is the Czechoslovakian accent.
Well, before I ask you one of my typical questions that I ask everybody on this series, I wanted to see if there were any other memories at all you wanted to share about any of the movies you've been in, or television series, or even theater, or anything like that. That you just feel like.
I don't know. There was another. There was what was that thing with dead people? That was Twilight Zone, or
Mhm.
then there was an Outer Limits that I did with Cliff Robertson, where
Nice.
we went to space. I was kind of a guy like Elon Musk, I had the money to that I didn't know what to do with, so I made a spaceship and had Cliff Robertson, who was supposed to be a legendary astronaut, fly it for me. So we went in space together and saw stuff. I don't know what it was, little sparkles of things. Might have been angels. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. All right. No, that's cool though. Outer Limits, Twilight Zone, very cool series. Whenever they ran, because they ran a couple of times over
Yeah.
the decades. Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Well, you've already started talking about this, but what else is next for you? What's in the works for you? Tell me more, like what's in the works for you writing wise, and if there's been anything recent or upcoming. You can talk about acting roles as well too, but I want to get some of your writing in here.
Well, I republished Mom, Is There a Santa Claus? Because my publisher, Guardian Angel, went under.
Yeah.
And so I had the exciting experience of trying to put up my book with Ingrid Starts with my publisher's help. She gave me the files.
Yes.
And I bought the art.
Mhm.
Kate Snyder illustrated it. Let me see. This is the book.
Nice.
So I had the exciting experience of trying to do that, and it really sucked.
Yeah, I bet.
But I have to do that with I had in the works, 2 books that were accepted. One of them was My Sister Ella, which is a picture book about autism from a sibling's point of view.
Cool.
And then, and the other one was Sunday Cat, which is a days of the week story about a cat who thinks it's always Sunday and that it shouldn't do anything.
Aw.
And that the art had been done for that one. But then publisher went under, so I haven't seen all of the art. So I need to look for an artist for that. Ella got accepted again by a publisher of autism books, and then I read the contract, which lasted till 70 years after my death, and presented me with nothing. When they felt like it, they'd give me royalties based on net. So I said no. I do have a book that's supposed to come out from Simon and Schuster,
Ooh,
but it's been supposed to come out for 11 years, so I'm beginning to wonder about that.
Yeah.
That was my great American novel.
Oh.
Great Life, Death, The American Dream, 65 words. How could I lose?
Right.
So it's still looking for an illustrator.
Oh.
It's only been 11 years. It could happen.
What these things take time, right? Well,
the one I'm working on, which is, did you ever hear of Ada Lovelace?
yes.
Okay, so she was Lord Byron's daughter. Lord Byron, the mad, bad, wicked guy that you've seen in the Victoria series and everything else, who he was the hero of the Regency, and he was a poet, and he was a terrible rake. But he had one legitimate daughter, Ada, and he left when she was about 2 months old. But her mother, who was very well educated, decided to see that she was educated in sciences and everything but literature, because she didn't want to take after the Byron's Tyranny of Madness. Well, Ada invented the first computer program, first logarithm, 100 years before there were computers.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to travel her to 1940s England to meet Alan Turing, who actually used her work? So I did. That was fun.
Awesome.
So that one is next. It's either I'm talking to somebody about what to do with it.
Okay.
Whether I should continue to submit to agents, give it to Guardian Angel Publishing, who published my others, or self-publish.
Well, obviously, you can't give it to Guardian Angel though.
Oh,
Now.
not Guardian. I'm sorry. I have said Soulmate Publishing. It's funny. I've worked for Miracle Films,
Right.
Illusion, Guardian Angel, and Soulmate. I wonder what's going on there.
Interesting. Interesting synchronicity there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's good that you bring up Guardian Angel, because one of my episodes, actually it will have happened already, is with my illustrator for Sloth the Lazy Dragon and Mary Mur the Christmas Bat, which were the two books that were published of mine by Guardian Angel. So
Who was your illustrator?
Alex Scud. She, a friend of mine, went to the arts college here, Ontario College of Art and Design, OCAD, and yeah, she did watercolors for those two, and I've managed to find two different, but local, like one in Windsor, Ontario, one in Hamilton, Ontario, publishers for them, and it'll be relaunched in October.
And I had different illustrators. Jamie's Dream was Kim Sponigal, and just I love her work. And Samantha Bell did Growing Up Dreams. And Eugene, good, I'm good at names.
Oh yeah, no, but I knew, yeah, Eugene, and I forget his name.
And he actually worked on Voltron, the cartoon.
Oh, cool.
My kids were thrilled. Well, Chris is going to be on Hawkeye.
Ooh,
from Marvel.
Cool. Is that on Disney Plus or?
It's a Marvel thing. I think it's I'm pretty sure it's TV.
Yeah, so Disney's channel though, right? Like
the Disney Channel, yeah.
Yeah, because Marvel,
I actually, you never know. I think things are gone, and while I've auditioned, I'll tell you what's been fun is Chris films me and I film him for auditions.
Right.
And a couple of weeks ago, we were both up for the same movie. So we filmed each other, and then we sat there with our phones downloading our auditions or uploading our auditions. And I thought, oh, this is so cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I have a website for acting. I have a website for my children's books, which got finished just as you went under. So all the links are on. And then one for my adult books, which is susanbjames.com, I think.
Very cool. Now, Ben, would you share with me what your favorite B movie or B movies are?
Oh gosh, I like all the old B westerns, Hopalong Cassidy. With you always see people like Victor Jory and Bob Mitchum playing the bad guys, and then I liked. I saw one the other day. It was a horror movie.
Yes.
But it was a comedy. It had Lee Tracy in it, and he's a fast talking reporter, and had Lionel Atwill playing Dr. X.
Oh yes.
And Preston Foster playing a crazy doctor who had one hand and had, I don't know, shark ate the other one or something. I don't know what happened, but they had this lab where they were doing all these experiments, like keeping the heart pumping in the jar for 5 years or something, and electrostatically.
Right.
And it was a Warner Brothers deal, and the Warner Brothers, they had those gangster movies, and they all had rapid fire dialogue. Well, this was the same kind of a deal, and it was in Technicolor. Early Technicolor, 1931.
Oh.
And the Technicolor really didn't come in until 1939 with Gone with the Wind and The Wizard of Oz and all those things.
Yeah. And
this one was a horror movie, so it worked because it was spooky. Everything was green and orange and brown, odd colors, and faces looked, I mean, they looked good, but they looked made up, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So it was an interesting kind of a movie. I saw it on Turner Classic Movies. You know, you see some of those things on there.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
I don't know how they're classic, but they put them on anyway.
They have a Friday night thing where they do TCM Underground, so that gives them permission to sort of do the cult movies and old things. I just saw Plan 9 from Outer Space last Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now that's an interesting. That's the last movie that Bela Lugosi did, and he died during the shooting of it.
Hmm.
And that Ed Wood went and hired his dentist, who didn't look at all like Bela Lugosi,
Yeah.
and had him walking around with his cape up over his face like that all the way.
Yep. It's quite hilarious.
They had plates going flying across like that.
On a wire.
And then that guy, Criswell, who says, "My friend, this is tomorrow, and tomorrow will be tomorrow."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good impression.
It's interesting. I don't think there was a script for it.
Well, they're
I've done a few movies like that. There's no script for it. You just kind of have to fumble around, figure out what somebody might say.
Oh man. Well, they at least, if there wasn't a script before, then somebody did a script for that, like maybe a transcript or something of it eventually, because I think last Friday they did a table read on TCM. Yeah.
That was on, but I couldn't bring myself to watch it.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't watch the table read. I'm afraid I just I kind of skipped out on
Bob Odenkirk in it. I almost watched it because of that, but I decided no, I don't think I'll watch.
No. Well, yeah, no, I don't blame you. But it is Plan 9. It's a fun movie if you're looking for horror comedy. Again, and this one's not horror comedy on purpose. That's just how it ended up being.
He also did one called Glenn or Glenda.
I've seen that one.
Which was another interesting one because he was a cross dresser, and this Ed Wood was, and he played Glenn and Glenda, I think.
Yep, and he did.
It was pretty weird.
Yeah, very weird. Bela Lugosi was also in that as like this omniscient puppet master guy with the fingers over the scene.
Yeah, he got Lugosi in there. I think he was providing him dope or something.
Or at least allowing him to continue, to shoot up or whatever. Yeah. Keep him happy. Yeah. No, Ed Wood was a strange guy, and with some strange movies. What's your favorite B movie?
Well, Young Frankenstein is my own horror movie. Yeah. And B movie. Like Barry, I love all the Westerns.
Yep. All the Westerns. And Plan 9.
Oh, yes. Well, Plan 9, absolutely.
Yeah, Barry and I talked a bit about Plan 9. You and I talked about Plan 9 a couple of years ago. So,
Yeah, well, what happened is we were at a wedding, and we were in one of those "what's the worst movie you ever saw" things where everybody was talking about it. And I don't know who it was that mentioned Plan 9 from Outer Space, but we both knew we needed to see it. And we came home and back to Los Angeles, and it was on, I want to say Channel 9 or something, but I'm not sure. Okay. But they showed Plan 9 from Outer Space and Cal Worthington in the background doing auto things, and completely fell in love. And I still have a VHS of it.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I have a DVD. I didn't clue into it until DVD time, but and especially after the movie Ed Wood was made by Tim Burton.
Oh, yes.
We brought awareness to about this crazy B movie filmmaker.
Oh, there was another movie called It Came from Hollywood, and it was Dan Aykroyd, and there's a tribute in it to Ed Wood that's really fun.
Nice. And I still have to see that movie, so I should check that out. Cool.
That really is worth it. It's a great B movie. It came from Hollywood.
Now, just veering off of movies, my last question for you that I like to ask everybody also is, what is your Halloween, because this is the 13 horrifically silly days of Halloween, what's your Halloween ritual, past and present?
Usually I'm working, so I don't ever do anything. But
But
if
working
I'm
is a good excuse.
home, if I'm home, I turn off the lights and hide in the back room.
Okay.
I don't keep candy in the house, so I don't want anybody coming up and trying to get candy off of me.
Well, that's a ritual of sorts. Hiding away. What about when your kids were little?
Oh, when my kids were little, we'd go out and trick or treat. They like to go over to Ann and Logan Ramsey's house, because Ann Ramsey played Mama and Throw Mama from the Train. She had a big thing of her head, and she'd put that on the front door and go, ha, 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 ha.
Wow.
And you know, they'd do it up real big.
Oh, that's very
So
cool.
I don't know. I never have really been. Even when I was a kid, I didn't do much Halloween.
All right, but you know, some
I'd
good
do
memories with your kids.
Other days, I'd get all made up like an old man or a monster or something and scare people.
Yeah. Well,
But
that's
I didn't want to do it Halloween because everybody's doing it then. I'd want to do it, slip up on people parked in the cars and leer through the window.
that's sneaky. That's a way of getting the real scares.
Yeah. I get shot too.
Oh, but you avoided that, so it's all good. Last but not least, what is your Halloween ritual, past and present? And I have a sub question within that, but I'll just let you talk.
We make jack-o'-lantern English muffins.
Ah.
So a pizza muffin, pizza sauce, cheese, and then you take the yellow cheese and you carve out the triangles for the eyes and everything. And we've made those every year.
Adorable. Nice treat too. And it's nice to like a counterpoint to all the sweets that happen at Halloween.
Right.
Nice to
And
have
that was definitely, it's always been a tradition.
Huh, very cool. Well, Barry mentioned trick-or-treating at Ann and Logan Ramsey's house.
Yes,
I wondered if you had
the
any
best. Well, because Ann and Logan, that was their holiday. They adored it. And we would always drive over there, and Annie would be wearing her Goonies outfit
Wow.
with pearls, but she had her Throw Mama from the Train head under her arm. And it was just great. We went to her, sadly, her funeral, and Chunk, but there was a picture of Annie as a girl, and I don't know, maybe she's 10, but she's got these huge sausage curls, the ugliest little face. She's sitting next to a dollhouse. And anyway, that was the picture they had up at the funeral. And Danny DeVito was making her sit, and he says, I see her in heaven now going, there goes your sequel, fat boy. And at that point, her picture fell off.
Oh, neat. Oh, that's funny and spooky.
Both of the kids have autographed pictures of her, posters of Goonies.
Anything else you'd like to tell me before I let you go?
Well, I can't thank you much, just I've enjoyed our chat,
Me too. Thank you so much. It's been so great talking to you and meeting you.
My pleasure.
But thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was great talking with you again, as usual.